Are we live? All right, so we're on episode 28, and today I have Ludikimus and the other girl that's here part-time that we see every once in a while. This is Claire, and she's actually still in college, and she's going to graduate 2024.
No, in a year.
A year?
Yeah, I have 1 year left. Whew.
So you've been with us, what, like a year and a half, 2 years?
It'll be 2 years in May.
Yeah, so she's been with us 2 years, whole time in college, and now she's finally wrapping that up and getting to the other side. But if you send a duplication, these two are the ones who usually see it first. So customer service puts in a project, and then they send you some bottles with a work order, and then it goes to you guys, right?
Yep.
So we kind of wanted to just do an overview on duplications, kind of what the process is, what you guys like, some of the ones that are more difficult, that kind of thing, right? So what type of products do we duplicate?
Anything that contains fragrance oil.
So
Candles,
soaps.
soap, lotion.
Shampoo, conditioner, all of that.
Oh, yeah. All that stuff. But,
And then those are actually pulling the fragrance out of the product, right?
mm-hmm.
So if it's just oil, does it go to you guys?
Mm-hmm. If it's just oil, it comes to us too. But it's a little easier when we get just the oil. Because we don't have
It's
to
a little easier or a lot
A
easier?
lot easier.
Yeah, it's a completely different process if we're being honest, But,
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, so
it all comes to us.
you guys are given how long on a project? What do we tell the customers?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So if I send you the oil compared to sending you the finished product, which one's going to be done first?
The oil, definitely.
And why is that?
Because we can let the machine just run by itself and run a whole sequence of oils where we have to manually shoot an extraction.
Okay, so first you have to extract the actual oil out of the product,
Mm-hmm.
which can take, how long does that normally take?
If it's a candle, it takes usually 2 days.
Okay,
And I can do like a lotion or shampoo or anything like that, like a day.
okay, so it takes 1 to 2 days to extract. And then, so right there, the oil by itself is already ready to go on the machine.
Mm-hmm.
But now with an extraction, we're talking 2 to 3 days to extract it. And then you can't load it into the auto sampler. You actually have to manually shoot it. So instead of putting it in the carousel where there's like 50 of them, you literally have to wait for an opening so you can inject it into the machine.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that could put another delay of a couple of days, might even be half a week, depending on what you guys are doing.
Right.
So that's a big difference between sending you guys the oil and sending you guys a finished product for extraction. So one of the things that we're doing, we're actually getting Zach more involved to help you guys to basically tell the customer, look, if you send me the oil, it takes 2 weeks, but because you sent me a finished product, it's going to be a little bit longer, and make sure that information gets back to the customer. So we're working on that. Okay, so out of a candle or soap, which one's easier to extract?
Personally, I like a candle better, just because I feel like with a soap, there's all the suds, and I don't know, you're the extraction king.
Yeah, I feel like with a candle, I can get a cleaner extraction, but it's going to take longer because I have to filter it more.
Okay.
Because, like when I do a soap, like if you leave suds in it or something, after you burn all the pentane out, it might solidify or something like that.
So it's harder to get the impurities out of a soap compared to mainly oil-based for a candle.
Because once you filter out all the wax, then
So you guys extract incense, lotions, shea butter, all this stuff. What's the weirdest thing you've extracted?
We had to extract, it was a sugar scrub for a nail salon, like how they do the pedicures and they have the scrub that they rub on your legs.
Yeah. And it smelled like
Lemon. It smelled like just straight lemon. It was actually like this lemon jelly type stuff. It didn't extract that well. We actually had to do a nose dupe to make sure that we got the correct fragrance.
So you extracted it. The extraction failed miserably, and then you had to do a nose dupe off of what was left in the sludge beaker.
Right.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember somebody sent testosterone gel. They wanted, they sent all the little sample tubes.
Yeah.
So they sent like 50 of them. I had to squeeze them all out and try to get the fragrance. It didn't have any fragrance in it really, but
Okay, so it's like a pharmaceutical grade something, and they were trying to find what they used as a masking agent, and you couldn't find anything. Yeah, I mean, sometimes people think that there's a masking fragrance in something, and it's actually just the product itself being put together. It's
Right.
not that common, but because most things just don't smell pleasant, right?
right.
Okay, so what amounts do you guys need to extract? Like, if you're doing a candle, can I just send you like a corner of a candle?
No,
At
we
least
we prefer
16?
the full candle.
At least
It-
16 ounces.
So I can't like burn half the candle down and then just give you like what's left at the bottom and expect you to extract it.
Not at all.
The oil's pretty much all gone at that point.
But what if it's the only candle left on the earth?
Well, I mean, we can try,
Yeah, we can try.
give it a shot, but
Okay, so a candle you need basically a candle to do the extraction, right? Don't give me a little votive. You need like a full size candle. Okay. What about soap bars? Can I give you like the last little heel that usually like make it fall apart on your washcloth and then like you?
yeah, we need like a
2 or 3 bars.
2 or 3, 16 ounces. I
Yeah,
guess.
16 ounces is pretty good. With bath bombs, we need at least 2, preferably 3. That way we can have a bigger target.
I think a lot of people don't understand that if you guys are extracting something, you need something at the end to compare it to.
Right.
Right.
Right. So if you only send me one bath bomb, I'm literally going to have to use the whole bath bomb to do the extraction. So therefore, I have nothing to compare it to at the end because I've had to use all of it for the extraction.
Right, and even then, when if say someone sends in 1 bath bomb, we still have to keep a piece for the target, so we can't even use that whole 1
amount.
bath bomb.
Yeah. Okay. So what about lotions?
We need at least 16 ounces of lotion.
You just like that 16 ounces.
Six-
Don't
I
you?
mean,
That's
it's
like
a good-
that's your go-to. You're like, I want a quart. Like, give me a quart.
I mean, that's the minimum.
Okay. So I think a lot of people don't understand. It also depends on the percentage of oil that's actually in the product. So lotions are very low percentages. So a candle could have 6, 7, 8, 9%. Some of these ridiculous loads,
Oh, yeah.
and then a lotion could be like 0.1%. So that's why we need so much of a lotion to try to do an extraction because it's only 0.1%.
Yeah, the more the better for those.
Okay.
Lotion, shampoo, yeah.
So you've had some experiments that didn't work out. How often does an extraction not work out? Like, I mean, you're doing, I don't know, probably 40 or 50 a month. What's the ratio to pass fail?
I'd say out of those 40 or 50, like 2 or 3 might not work out, or there'll be some where we just have too little of the product, so we have to go and ask customer service to ask the customer for more.
Yep.
That probably happens 1 out of 10.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
So you say, I want 16 ounces of lotion, and they give you 4 ounces of lotion. You try to do the extraction, and because you didn't have enough of the product, it didn't work out.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
yeah. Sometimes, I mean,
I mean, 'cause at first when you run the numbers, you're like, really fail 1 out of 10? But if you weren't given the correct amount at the beginning, this is really where I'm trying to put Zach on top of you guys to go to the customer and say, hey, you just sent in this product for duplication, but there's not enough of it for us to do a good duplication. We can try it, but it's probably going to waste everybody's time, or you can go ahead and send me enough of the product and we'll be good. That's really what I'm trying to do on that.
Right, yeah, that would
That-
be a huge help.
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of miscommunication with customers.
And a lot of times I'll get like 2-ounce little samples of soap and stuff, and that's just not going to work.
Okay. So your happy number, 16 ounces. How much of the oil do you need? Do you need 16 ounces of the oil?
I'd say at least
No,
1. 1 ounce of oil is pretty solid for a target and to run on the machine.
Okay. So with 1 ounce, you have enough to shoot on the GC, and you have enough of a target to smell afterwards to compare the two together.
Yeah, 1 ounce is.
What's the smallest amount I can give you?
The smallest amount of
I'd say
oil.
3 milliliters. 3 milliliters.
Well, she was like, that's a solid 3 mil, right?
Right, because I used to have to order
Fine fragrance.
fragrances,
Yeah.
and we at least had to have 3 milliliters.
Okay, so out of a 3 mil sample, right, which is a small vial,
Very small.
what's left of that after you shoot it?
It depends because we have, depending on how much the customer sends, we have things that can make the vials even smaller,
Yeah.
the inserts. But I'd say probably 1.5 milliliters left.
So about half of it.
About half of it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have a 3 mil, so literally, 3 grams, a gram and a half target. So we really can only odor evaluate that a couple of times before even that's almost dissolved to nothing.
Right.
So now we're back to your original statement of some of them don't work out because you didn't give me enough. And so let's just say some perfume that was made 25 years ago and it's been discontinued and it's gone. And literally somebody says, hey, I've got 3 squirts in a bottle. We can duplicate it, but we're not going to have much of a target to go against. And because the oil's aged, that also adds another level, right?
Right.
So how often do you guys get stuff that's aged that when we compare the two, it doesn't line up?
I wouldn't say too often. We don't get really old stuff.
There'll be a couple projects that come through, and there'll be customers that even label, 2 years old and let you know that it's
Yeah.
older. But it's not too often. Normally,
Pretty active.
yeah.
I mean, the thing is, if you're having it duplicate, it usually means it's a top seller and you're trying to move it and you're trying to buy it. So why would you have a sample that's over a year old if you're moving the product? So sometimes people try to revive old fragrances that they're just like, oh, this is the best. I know if I put it on the market, it's just going to annihilate. But the problem with that is that company discontinued it because the sales were not there. So I've never really seen a product come back that people are like, this was really good. It was a missed opportunity. And then they start ordering a lot. It usually doesn't happen that way. Yeah. What other stuff do you guys need on a project? So if a customer says, I want something extracted, this is what I need, what other information should they give you guys that would help you out?
We're going to need the application to know what they're using it in, so Ron knows what solvent to use in the formula.
Okay, so we had this situation, I remember about a year ago with one of my customers. The customer made candles, but they sent in a soap for duplication, right? And all the formulation was done thinking that it was going back into a soap product. When I sent it back to my candle customer, he said it didn't even work in his wax, right? But I had no clue that that was not the finished product that he was trying to get it into. So yes, you can duplicate a soap fragrance to go into a candle, or you can get an air freshener and put it into another product. But you guys need to know what the end product is so that you can formulate against that. Yeah. Okay. What other information?
Let me think. Probably what percentage they want to put it in, just so we
like,
can.
For candles and stuff.
Right, an IFRA. Just for like if you want to do a lotion and you want a lemon fragrance, well, we need to know at what percent you want it because citrus isn't really good for your skin.
I think the other thing that happens is we duplicate a soap and then they buy it and then they're like, hey, I just saw the IFRA limit. I can't put it at 5% in the bath bomb. Well, we need to know what other product, especially lotion. I think that's probably one of the biggest. Like, oh, I bought it for soap. Now I want to put it in lotion, but the percentages are way low. Well, one, lotions are supposed to be way low. And if we had known that at the beginning part, we could have formulated a little bit differently, but we didn't know that when you originally purchased the item. Right? Okay. So what about pricing? So I send you guys this soap bar that I found in the Virgin Islands, and it's the best smelling soap I've ever had, and I bought it for like $80, right? So I have you guys duplicate it, but I'm trying to put it into a $10 product. I think that's probably one of the other things that you guys run into is you guys will do a duplication. You'll be like, okay, this is a $40 fragrance. You'll send it back to the customer, and they're like, whoa, I wanted to spend like $10.
Right, that's a big problem, I guess you could say, because there are a lot of customers that do purchase really expensive products and send them in for duplication, and we just duplicate it, which means
We extract it and give you exactly what you wanted.
And if we did know the price range, we could revise it beforehand instead of having to go ahead, create a formula, send it out, and then have to reformulate it all over again.
Right. So I think that's one of the things on the front end. This is what I want. I want you guys to extract it, but then I also need it at a certain price point because this is the market that I'm going to sell it into. I agree with that. Okay, so different type of extractions. What type of oils you guys need? Different customers. Can anybody get an extraction?
Can anyone get an extraction?
Look, it's like Jeopardy.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we don't see, I guess, who sends in the extraction. Customer service puts in the projects.
Yep.
But we do have a lot of new customers giving us extractions.
Okay. So one of the things that we're looking for before, I mean, because that's a lot of lab time. I mean, you have to extract it. We have to load it onto a GC. The perfumers have to create the formula. Then it has to go to the lab techs for them to actually make it. Then it's got to go through evaluation. Then if it goes through evaluation, it's got to go back out to be sampled. There's a lot of processes that go in with that. So it's not like a library pick. So usually before customer service, we'll send something for you guys to extract. They usually have to be vested a little bit more. Either we've done business with them before or we know that it's a bigger account. We will do it with smaller accounts, but we just want to make sure that they're not wasting our time or theirs. So usually extractions, we're a little bit more stringent on.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You got anything that you would want to say to someone who's sending in a project?
If you're sending in a project, it would be great to have the fragrance oil before you, I guess.
Okay, so let's look at that. So, like, literally, you have an option of sending us in a duplication. So you went to a store and you're like, I like this fragrance. I would like to add it to my product. And they have a magnitude of products that fragrance is offered
In
in.
the same fragrance.
So it could be soaps, lotion, shampoo, candle, room diffusers. Which one are easier to extract?
Concentrated room spray or any of the wallflowers, any type of plug-in air
So
freshener.
a room spray, a diffuser, and then probably the candle.
Right.
And then behind that,
Um,
look at his
maybe
face. He's
bath
literally
bombs,
saying absolutely nothing. No, okay, I got you. So a bath bomb and
Or
then
a
probably
body
soap bar
mist.
behind that. Okay.
I said lotion's got to be the hardest, and then
Just because of the percentage load.
right.
Lotion
Okay.
and
So if they have options, it's definitely easier to go with room sprays, the air freshener side before you get into the actual personal care side.
As close
I
as
gotcha.
you can get to just pure fragrance oil.
I got you. And then that'll make it go through faster, saves you guys time, and the return is just a lot better on both sides.
for sure.
Okay, so a customer sends in a soap bar for duplication. Would you guys ever go online and buy that product in another application that's easier to extract? So if I send a candle in, but I find out that I can get it online and get an air freshener, do you guys ever do that?
We have done it before. We go through our managers first before we do that, make sure that it's a customer that is worth our time, purchases the products regularly, stuff like that. But if we find a better quality and it's not outrageously expensive and we do think that we want it in our library, we purchase it to get a better read on the machine.
Okay.
If you get a way better,
Extraction.
yeah.
You'll get a better dupe if we get the straight oil.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually just recently did that with a candle. It actually came in a fine fragrance, so we bought the fine fragrance.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So any extractions you send in, it's going to go to these two before it goes to perfumery. So he wants 16 ounces. She wants at least 3 mils. One of the two. Subscribe and follow AFI.
Has anybody seen Josh?